George, can you like just stand over me kind of? Maybe yeah, just for a second.
Get on your knees.
Just for a second. All right.
Maybe kneel?
All right. No. Just have the glove, man.
As long as you feel both hands, you're good, right?
Welcome to another special episode of Project Wrong Way. Ty, I'm making memories here. I've been saying we need to redo the front axle or put it back together. Well, the time's come, finally. And I've called on some support.
Why are you sitting?
This is Georg, Esterer, Bunny. I'm just trying to show I'm trying to show the hierarchy of skill.
This shows the proper proportion of this
He's
Viking
the
right
skilled
here.
one. He's the skilled one.
That's what I'm saying, the skill. He was taller.
Okay.
Today of all days, after the worst thunder and lightning storm California's ever had, a giant pandemic of 2020 of COVID, and then the race riots that's been going on, we're going to take a break from all that stuff, and we're going to rebuild and reassemble the front axle. So we're going to try to show it as an explanation of how to do it. And obviously we're going to use my skill and raw talent and childlike wonder and George's overall knowledge of exactly how to do it. So pay attention. No guarantees that you'll learn anything, but
yeah, if he's here, they'll learn something.
We got other people here too.
I can totally misguide him and he'll never know.
Yeah, I'll drive it.
It's true. He trusts you. Completely trusts you.
So we're gonna start getting prepped. I'll show you guys everything we've laid out. George, you keep doing what you're doing for now. So George brought up a really important point. Where the hell is that Birfield at?
On the road rack over here.
After all the preparation and work of getting ready for this episode, the first thing George says to me is, "Have you tried putting Birfields into the axle yet?" And I said, "Nope, George, I haven't." And of course, the moment we do, we're going to run into some issues. All right, so this is a 1978 disc axle. I've already told everyone that I'm going with the shorter, stubby Birfields to fit the Asian. Raisin?
There you go. Perfect.
Like raisin?
Nailed it.
Going with the Asian hubs. Raisin. There's material here that I have to remove. Right here, some right here, and some right there.
You're really getting the fingers in there.
So before we can stick the Birfield in there, that needs to happen.
Yep. So in preparation for that, we shoved the rag into the axle housing where the inner axle seal goes. Just see it in there, so we get no grinding dust in there. And then after we're done grinding,
Man, that's a really good idea, because I would not have done that, and grinding dust wouldn't have gone in
those
there.
gears for you and the bearings.
Yeah, it polishes
Then
up all
after
the...
we're done grinding it and we test fit the berth, we'll pull that rag out of there. We'll pull the seal out, knock a new seal in, and we'll be good to go.
So just when you think you're all prepared and ready,
You're not.
Brian Apple, he's the big fuzzy giant with the tank top on. No, we'll get him. Anyway, he's like David the Gnome, but without white hair. He doesn't ride a fox. Swift the fox. Have you ever seen David the Gnome? He went to Harbor Freight to go buy grinding discs so that we could grind out the metal there, because I didn't have any. So Rachel won't let me buy tools. So 1978 axle has these short berths from an FJ40, and for them to fit inside my axle housing, we've got to do some grinding. We're going to install these studs for the hubs. The locking hubs. Stubs for the hubs. We're going to use red thread locker. This longer stud is going into the shaft. The smaller, not long stud, the coarse one, will not enter the shaft.
So it'll be poked out.
Right. We're going to thread this in place and also jam the bearing housings. I'm making up a lot of these terms. Is that what they're called, Ty?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's
The races?
That's pretty true. So
Yeah,
we're also going to put...
everything from you.
So we're also going to put the bearing races in place. So we're just getting this ready to go. That's all.
What is that?
This is a bearing race.
No, but what is
I've told you that 100
No,
times.
the thing in your hand, the whole thing.
This thing? I don't know what this. I don't know what this is called. Oh, dude, it's the wheel hub.
Small technical issue we have is that Ben is so proud of his bearing and seal installer set.
Yeah.
Except
It doesn't fit.
Is that the
fits,
biggest
but-
one?
that's the biggest one you
Do it
have.
again, it was too low.
You already knew this.
Kind of wrong size, but we'll
Yeah.
find a way to make it work.
Failure.
Luckily, I bought the $60 bearing kit from Amazon, and I told a bunch of people to buy that as well. You're going to find out, though, it won't have the correct bearing pieces to put in.
And somebody might have asked Ben, hey, do you need a seal installer kit? Oh no, I just have this really bitchin' one I just bought.
Told
It's gonna work
George.
great.
Told George I got a really cool kit.
So I didn't bring one.
This handsome man is going to help me. This is Jerem. You might recognize him from the TV show Ed, which premiered on ABC about 25 years ago. I'm not going to lie, you're the best looking guy here. Besides Ty.
It's not,
If
it's
Ty
not-
was human sized, he would be the best looking.
but relatively speaking, it's not saying much. So
Here, try this hammer. Get his forearms in there.
So
Yeah, make sure to get it
here, why
close
don't you? Back. Woo! Back to the grinder.
David the gnome.
Do you have one that fits the small arbor? Because that would be ideal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. I'm just gonna try to make my fingers go away by handling this.
Safety third.
Oh yeah, I was just doing a test run. I don't know how much material to take away yet.
Thank you.
Scared to go in.
I didn't have to yell it.
Just go a little bit at a time until the Birfield sets in.
I'm gonna do a little bit at a time. Wow. You clear, Rob?
Yeah, clear.
I'm doing a little bit at a time, buddy. All right, there's gonna be some more sparks. Do you have safety glasses on? Yeah, me too, bud.
You said to do a little off the top too, hun.
Yep, I'm gonna have to go inverted. Wow, it is really close, honestly. I didn't have to take off any hard material.
That's not something you could just lube up and then throw in.
The other thing is you want to, like you're doing right now, you want to take material off here and here. You don't necessarily want to come in here because that can weaken a little. I've never seen one of these fail as far as opening up or breaking or
But
whatever.
men could do that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have the right man on the job.
I could
so-
make it anything fail.
But yeah, usually when I do it, I'll come in at a slight angle like this.
Yeah.
And just back and forth and
So
just shave it out. of
use
there.
the conical shape of the disc.
Exactly.
to get-
and that way you're not coming in here because if you lay flat, then it's going to hit the edges much sooner. So if you go on an angle, you'll be all right. And same on the bottom. Problem is when you do that one, it's going to want to spray your face. But
Yeah. Get real close. They call this the money shot.
Oh gosh.
Ready?
The worst person.
these are hub stud kits, right?
Hubstud kits. I bet you can't guess where I got these from. Georg Esterer at Valley Hybrids. He's got everything you need. Just saying.
They come as a stud,
Yeah.
then a little cone washer that locks the hub body down in place, lock washer in the nut.
And they're all gold, which I love.
Got the little thing you jammed in there. What was that called again?
Our bearing races, those are wheel bearing races.
Okay.
Yeah, we put those in.
You did that?
There you go, a little bit down the, there you go.
Is that too much?
That's good.
That's none. I haven't put like, oh, there we go. Gosh.
Don't get too excited.
And then just thread them in, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. And then you use that nifty little tool.
Struggling.
Get a load of this bad boy, because I've never even heard of something like this.
That tool?
Yeah.
It's a stud remover or installer.
Stud remover or installer.
I'll let you borrow that.
So once you thread the stud in, you put that guy on.
Come up a tiny bit.
Come up a tiny bit, obviously, because you want to leave some room for the thing to go down.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Yeah. You want to go the right direction for,
There you go. And then just torque it.
boom, just like that.
Do a little bit more. Do it again.
Yeah, good.
That's good enough.
I can go until the threads turn to liquid metal.
What we have on the job here. Alright. There you go. So you do that 12 times and you're ready to go.
Yeah, those guys are all set.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're gonna need
obviously
some
I'm
more,
going to
but-
take some from the top,
And
but
the other thing is when you're starting on the other side, you're doing a little tiny bit, and now you're laying into it because you feel how warm that got. So
yeah, I'm getting aggressive.
that's superhuman strength.
It's Viking strength. I think it's a good time to address what's happening here.
What's happening?
Well, this is the Landcruiser community, Rachel. It's people from around the North State. But there's people like this in every state in America and all over the world. They'll come help out retards. Oh, I can't say the R word.
Can't say that word.
They'll come help idiots with their projects. All you gotta do is make a YouTube show about it. George, did you drop Rob off down the street?
Yeah, then your dog chased me.
I was just thinking about that as I was grinding. I'm like, how did Rob get here though? George came up in a car.
Did you see Greta out there? Because we totally lost her.
Yeah, she chased me up the street.
Knucklehead.
Yeah. I know she wanted to say hi,
Yell at
Let's fit really good now. So we're gonna put the rotors on to the, I forgot what they're called again, George. These things.
Pretty
We're
sure
gonna
it's a
put
wheel
them-
hub.
Wheel hubs.
You have any brake clean?
I do. I've got so much brake clean, make your head spin. I just
There's so many half-empty cans.
I do. Yeah, got cancer right in my eyes. Is there any trick to putting the rotor onto the wheel hub?
Not really. They should seat down fairly well.
Okay.
You know, this is like a 75 through 1980 rotor setup.
That's when I purchased it.
Because you use a bolt-on rotor instead of a press-on rotor, so all you really have to do, and press-on meaning that the wheel studs on this style are pressed into the wheel hub, instead of getting pressed through the rotor and then the hub.
Well, that would be a
These
huge
rotors-
pain in the ass if you had to change the rotors out.
Not for you, because you can just sit there and pound on it.
I'm good at that. I
This
know
is right
exactly.
up your alley.
Yeah.
All you do is sit it on there, roll around, make sure it's nice and even, line it up, and then get all your bolts started.
They're in that bag of nuts right there.
He was handling those nuts.
George is cleaning the nuts because I made them.
Greasy.
They have a little number 7 on them, and they have no shoulder, and that's how I can differentiate these between.
Here, let me hold it.
Get the old steel.
I got really good at this. They have nuts with no shoulders. And we're educating America right now.
Other
Shoulders is
number 7
part of your
bolt
body right here.
That's
honey.
a shoulder.
has a little shoulder on it,
Oh, okay.
which is a non-threaded portion, but those are the ones that hold your spindle.
Oh, man, when I was separating all of my nuts and bolts for this project, I forgot which ones went to where. So that little bit of education should help everybody. Then you just stretch these guys onto here, huh? At the appropriate torque spec, I'm guessing, or
And a little bit of Loctite. So
a little bit of Loctite.
Yep.
Blue or red?
I use red.
What's the difference?
Crypt or blood. That's pretty
right.
much the only.
That's why the red rags are
One's
down here.
one's banging blue and
I don't
one's
think either
crypt
gang
killer.
Except you. You're the whitest person ever.
Hey, there are white guys in the crypt gang.
Are there?
Yeah, they're the losers. So I'm gonna pass this little chore off to Jerem, our handsome.
Sure.
I'm gonna do some stuff.
I'm gonna do this. So
Let's
I'm,
give it
I'm,
to him.
Jerem's learning.
Yes, I'm learning.
You should do at least one of them.
We're gonna
I'm
put
gonna-
the rookie on the brakes.
I'm
What-
gonna do it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna do it wrong here so that I
I want
know
you
how
to
do it
practice on my brakes, and then when it's the real deal. How tight do we make these? I usually just go about 190%. Like,
Good and tight.
So you're making sound.
About an
Good
eighth
and
of a turn before the bolt breaks. Snug them down by hand, put in a star pattern,
yeah.
and then we'll torque them.
Star pattern, then we'll torque.
What's that mean? Star pattern.
It's a star. You make a star.
Zigzag. So you would tighten like this one, then go across, then
Oh.
kitty corner,
Is that
across,
just so it goes
kitty
in
corner,
evenly?
across. Right. If you do them in a circle, it'll suck it down on one side first, and then it'll end up being uneven.
Ah, easy tip.
I'm gonna pull the seal out.
The seal.
It's a little innocent.
You pull it off? Or
Am I
off?
gonna scar something,
You're
George?
gonna pull it off or out?
Get in here.
Oh.
In here, honey. In the hole.
Oh, those birds are loud.
Aren't they? There's a family in the tree. Oh, impressive.
Rolling head pinch bar.
You actually know what something's called?
No. At the bicycle shop I worked at, this was a quiz for kids that wanted a free tube. Dax, the owner, he'd pull this out and be like, "What's this tool called?" And any kid that knew what it was or remembered,
Tweak your kid.
rolling head pinch bar.
Do it.
George has instructed me to go in dry,
There's no need to spit on it.
so I'm gonna go in dry. So this little tool, George has constructed for installing these little bearings. Or these. This is a Marlin heavy-duty axle seal for the front axle, but it also works for putting these little bearings in on the top part of the knuckles.
Slid it right on there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put that into the axle seal.
So that's the new seal you're putting in? You're putting that in
Yeah.
where you just pulled out?
Yeah.
Everything is going in and out on this thing. Easy.
Bottom's still out a little bit, or is it all in all the way? Yeah, the bottom's still out.
Yeah.
So,
You have an angle problem?
yeah.
You're tapping it at an angle?
So just lower it a little bit. Okay. That sounds like it's.
Do you have an angle pick?
Yep.
Grab an angle pick and run around and see if you can still get in behind it or not. If you can't, then it's flush.
Did you hear that, America and Saudi Arabia?
Angle-
Another
An angle pick?
an angled pick. Yeah, I've got one of those.
Okay, stop. You're tilting this up.
What?
You're tilting when you go to actually hit it. You're tilting this up a little.
Okay, so it
you
needs to
need
go
So
down.
yes, that's why your bottom half wasn't getting in.
Okay. Then I get this guy in there to check. All right, that's in there. It's in like flint.
that sounds good.
Yeah, you can hear a different tone when it finally goes in.
Now, the one from the bottom, obviously, make sure cone side out. So,
He took them back. They're not the same. They're not the same serial number.
Just don't
Look at
hit the
that.
shiny
You
part,
see
George.
how quick he did that?
Yeah, honey.
It's almost like he knows what he's doing.
George is known for his speed.
Hoo-yah.
I don't want it.
Why are you doing that?
Bang
Just
on
making
it.
sure it's secure.
He did it already.
I know, I was just getting the last of it
Alright,
down.
let's see if you can do this one.
George told me to make sure it's in there. Yeah, hear the tone change?
That's
how you know it got deep in it. Oh, I almost just put it in backwards. This ought to slow the progress down. Actually, these races are really easy to get out because they have those little notches on the inside. This is where Ben would have screwed
this
up.
is
on
the
a
point where
knuckle.
most people screw up on a knuckle rebuild because they forget to put these parts on the axle housing before they start hanging a knuckle. And then they get all the way done with the spindle and they see these laying on a table and go, oh man.
These are the dust seals for the back.
You remember how to put those on?
It goes this part first. Nope, I don't remember, George. Where'd I get this knuckle seal kit? Well, I don't know. Maybe George Esterer, Valley Hybrid sells them?
Perhaps.
Sorry. It's just really high quality parts at a high quality price.
So do you have a factory service manual or Chilton or anything?
No, George. I've been going by instinct this entire time.
Does. You do, don't you, somewhere?
No, I don't. I have been.
We're gonna totally let you guess at this.
I've just been weighing it. Yeah? Yeah?
Sure.
George, you're killing me. Metal?
Sure.
I would have watched a YouTube video on this to learn. Oh, don't scratch my super.
You can always rearrange them once they're on there.
Well, no, you can't. That's the thing. You just said that.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Okay, how'd it go? There's a
We'll make it work.
33.3% chance that I get that correctly.
Yep, hang the other side and then we'll worry about arranging them later. It's easier when you have two guys doing it.
I'm using snap-on flathead screwdrivers, but you could use the poor people kind too. On the internet, people have been having questions about installing the axles into the Birfields. Okay, George, what's the hang-up there?
There's different ways of doing it, but really you have to sneak this C-clip by the splines in the berth. So you pop them on here, and grab another one.
Alright, so
the
you put
C-clip.
the C-clip on the end.
Just got popped on. You see that?
You could do that one. You could do it.
Thanks, son. No, I can't.
Did you talk about getting grease in there before and everything?
Yeah, I put some in there. I didn't go crazy.
Okay, you definitely want as much as possible in here. Okay. Because once that axle shaft gets installed and driven in there,
There won't be any more
it'll
grease going
force
out.
the grease up through the berth balls and make sure they're fully packed.
Give me 2 seconds.
There's no way to grease a factory berth once it's installed. Some of the aftermarket berths actually have a grease fitting here, then you pump grease into it. These guys do not. There you go.
Why did they make it that color? It's sort of off-putting.
It's the Little Mermaid hair color.
The only problem is when you have too much grease in there, it's up there to see the C-clips. So,
Too much grease, bear to see the C-clips.
Okay, so he's putting that in.
you line this guy up until the splines start.
The spline
And it's
start.
kind of a two-man operation.
Okay.
One guy holds this and a hammer.
I'll hold the shaft and the hammer.
And then when I say go, you're gonna tap this.
Okay. Shaft and hammer.
Go in here and you compress the C-clip on both sides.
It's compressing the C-clip on both sides.
It's hard to do with a bunch of grease there, but
So
Okay.
pushing it in on
Yep.
both sides.
2-man job. So the first part of this man job is
Compress.
compressing the C-clip. Oops, bounce out a little bit. There's a ton of grease in
with
there.
this much grease in there, it's a little tricky, but
Oh, now it's going.
I'll rotate it this way so I can see the opening.
The 45 I didn't have to because I'm using
Say one.
Yep. Pow!
Dude,
Do it.
that was
Send it
that?
home.
super easy.
Send that home.
2 screwdrivers, flatheads. George pushed them both in to the groove. Me, 1 tap, boom, it's passed.
The Thor hammer did it.
Warhammer. So get
Before
some
we
help.
install
Moral
those, we're
of the
gonna grease
story,
them some more.
Get some help.
That's what I'm talking about.
That
That's
was
actually, that one went really good.
Put a little bit of grease on there. Just gonna do it for show now. All right. And then you literally support it with this. I normally grab the berth with one hand here and then the other side here to stabilize it, and then make sure there's no weight resting on the axle shaft as you're going in, and kind of guide it in as far as you can. Use the berth. Then once it starts splining into the diff, you're good, because then the weight's supported on the other side.
So then you're not jamming up here.
And then turn that a little. Sometimes you have to have both of them in to stop the side gears from turning. So you get both of them to this point, then you come to one side, push a little bit, and turn the pinion, and it'll pop right in.
Alright, we're gonna grease those up a little
But yeah, never just let them slide out of there unsupported. Once that berth's in there, you cannot get grease in here anymore.
Okay.
So at this point, I always pack a bunch of grease in here, and I put some on the seal and on this surface, so when everything slides together, it helps it slip into place.
Nice and
So like a 1/4 inch coating just all inside
Right.
here?
Yeah.
It just goops them on the hand. The other thing it does too, it's not just for lubrication, but if any water ever gets in there, if there's grease on there, it won't rust.
I like to put the grease on the shaft, grip the shaft, push down like that.
You're the worst.
So, one thing George said
Did you
is,
say to put some of that in too?
I did put some on that end.
Didn't put as much though.
On this guy right here,
I thought you said put some there too.
I did put some on here.
Alright, there you go.
Jeez. So I'm using the angle of this Birfield to support itself, so I'm not putting all the stress
On the seal.
on the seal.
They're not going in.
There it is. It's in there. Oh, it's right, isn't it? Right?
Did you put it on the wrong side? Should it be on the other side?
No, that's the right side. There's a short side and a long side. That one's actually extremely easy to tell. But
Did you use the wrong? But did you use the wrong Birfield?
No.
Remember how one's a little different?
he said that you need to get both in there to line up the things. So I'm gonna get the other side real quick. Got a little bit of grease on there. That's good.
Just a little.
Small amount. I don't think you can over grease. You can. You can probably over grease.
I'm going to turn the pinion, hold on to the other berth and turn the pinion.
Yeah. Just back and forth.
There you go.
Got it?
That's all it took? Yep.
Okay.
So easier with two people. You can't do it by yourself, but easier with two people. Okay, bearing packer lesson. Pump some grease in there,
Yeah.
and you sit the bearing in. Cone shape down. Jesus, Rachel, stop kicking the parts.
Pay attention.
Okay, those are just really hard to come by.
Like that.
Yeah.
Make sure the cone sits in there, and then push down somewhat firm on this, and see how the grease shooting out.
Oh,
Ta!
science.
Done.
And that's
You
packed.
take that, you smush it on there.
I should put gloves on
You
because
smush some in the outside.
you're gonna hand me those, and I'm gonna need to put them in the things.
How would you do that if you didn't have one of those?
There's an old school way of doing it by putting a bunch of grease on your hand and literally taking a bearing and
Smashing it.
smashing it on there. Or
Manhandling it?
you can go like this.
Use the bearing pack tool.
Whoop.
You could find these anywhere, right?
Oh yeah, they still make these. This thing's probably like 50 years old.
Bearing's done. Any trick to putting these little guys in their spots? There's a name
The
for them.
bottom one, these are called trunnion bearings, also known as knuckle bearings, right?
Okay.
So the bottom one gets pressed onto a knuckle. The top one sits loosely in the top of the axle housing. So the first thing we need to do is grab both knuckles. Well, let's do one at a time. Okay. And we need to put the bottom cap on.
And the bottom cap is this guy.
Yeah, just grab any old part.